But your arm movements are beautiful and graceful, and like front pose is fabulous. Lovely. Yeah, it needs to happen because what's happening is this is really detailed, but you're going, I'm exaggerating, foot, hips.
Okay.
So it needs to go together.
Okay.
Yeah, so your hips need to come with your footwork. Yeah. But then still keep twisting to show that rear glute. Yeah. See how that just started to pivot more, everything happened together?
Yeah, okay.
So the heel pivots, you transfer the weight and you twist the hips all at the same time so you get that glute out faster. So it's not two separate movements as in foot, hip. It's like together it all happens. That's better. So you hit the glute faster?
Yeah.
The shape, you just hit it faster. Yeah, lovely.
Cool, okay.
Does that feel different than what you were doing?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, yeah. Because you're thinking the right thing, which maybe in the beginning I've gone, okay, toe to the side, push into the hip, release the heel,
And
show
I've
the
done
glute.
it literally.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Good girl. Perfect angle of the glute now. Lovely. Yeah, good. Go from the front pose. Can I see that all together? I've literally never had to cue that before. Everybody's so individual with their posing. It's crazy. From here, face the rear of a stage. Everything together. Better. Good girl. Lovely. Good with the back and showing how much of the back as well. Keep going into back pose. Great.
6.2. 5.6. 7.3.
Now when I look at these skin fold readings, there's really only one column that I take a lot of notice of, and it's actually the last column, so that total kgs of body fat. That one there, you have to take all of these readings to get your averages and use the algorithm to figure out all the totals. But once I've done all of that, the only part that actually matters to me is how much body fat I have. So that's that last column there. You can see I've currently got about 10 kilos of fat in my body total. Now these readings are never going to be 100% accurate, but I just use the same method every time just to try and get some sort of consistent reading. And if you look across the top, these are all my readings from when I did the universe last year. The lowest my body fat got was 6.8 kgs of fat, and you can see I actually started going backwards a little bit towards the end. So when I ended up on stage, I had about 7.5 kgs of fat in my body. So I do want to kind of get back to the same, possibly a little bit lower, not too much lower, but the same or less I think is my ideal. And that's the good thing about once you've done at least one season of competing, you can compare yourself to where you used to be, and it gives you a really accurate ballpark figure into what you're trying to work towards. So if I've got just over 16 weeks to go and I'm trying to lose, say, 2.5 kilos, that doesn't sound like I need to do a lot. So that's good because I've got the time to get it off. I've got the time to get a little bit more fat off, not need to do anything crazy or drastic, and I'm just going to be really compliant with my food. So if I look at my body fat percentage 2 weeks ago, I went from 18.1 to 16.1. So I've lost 2% body fat, which is pretty good considering my lean mass dropped a little bit, which it will happen from time to time because your lean body mass includes water and glycogen and you know, food and all that sort of thing. So your lean mass is always going to fluctuate, but that's quite a significant drop in my skin fold readings. So I went from 81 down to 68. And that, I tell you what, that literally comes down to just deleting all the extras. I mean, I haven't deleted, that's a lie. I haven't deleted all the extras. I've deleted most of the extras. So I had got to that point in my off season where I was just getting too comfortable, and I was just, hot cross buns, and like, let's go out for dinner. And as much as I was trying to eat all the right food, the right healthy food throughout the week, there were way too many extras. That's how I put that fat back on. So I went from 7.5 kgs of fat to 11.6, which is not huge, but it's just fat that needs to come back off. So the last 2 weeks, the biggest drop there is not so much from what I was eating in my staple meals, but from all the extras that I got rid of. So that alone will be enough probably for me to keep getting results in the next 2 weeks. I'm still having 1 or 2 off meals a week. I'm aiming for 1 and falling short and having more than 1, but that's the main reason why I've had a drop. I've changed some of the food that I'm eating throughout the week as well in terms of my staples. So I'll show you some of the foods that I'm eating at the moment. And it's food that is still very, very high in protein, high in good fats, hardly any processed food at all, lots of whole food. So it's food that just makes me feel nice and full, because then you don't have cravings, and then it's easy to not have off meals. I think that's the key to getting the weight off and keeping it off, is whatever you delete, that's fine, but you have to find a way to not crave what you've deleted as well. So if your staples are just, like, if they've got no satiety in them, you just can't stick to the food. So it's really important to have, you know, the high protein, high fat will help with your fullness as well, but it has to be food that gives you, satiety. You just won't stick to it. So my best reading was a 6.8 kgs of fat, 3.2 kgs of fat to lose to be back at my best where I was last year, with about 16 weeks to go. So I could very easily lose more than that and be a little bit leaner for the shows this year than I was last year. So I think I would like to do that. I think I had further to go, and when I was competing last year, that was the first time I had been on stage in like more than 5 years. So I felt like I was basically starting again, although I certainly wasn't as bad as my first competition. I should show you what I looked like in my first show. So even though I felt like a newbie, I suppose I was an experienced version of being a newbie, if that's even a thing. But the reason why I bring this up is because now that I have a recent reading to compare myself to, I can just go, right, if I aim to get at least 4 kgs of fat off this body within the next 16 weeks, I'm going to be leaner. Obviously, I don't want to lose any muscle, so the key to that is to preserve muscle mass as you go through. So that's why you can't just slash your calories. You will get the weight off, but then you end up, you know, losing lean mass and not looking nice and full, which is the balancing act. So I think it's really important to do this very slowly and start really far out, even if you haven't got a huge amount of weight to lose, because then you can do it slowly. And if you do it slowly, then it's obviously better for your health, but it's better for your, well, it's better for your physical health, and it's better for your mental health, because I think if you go balls to the wall, there's going to be a slingshot effect. So I like the fact that it's keeping me on track, but I'm not having to rush. Same with learning the posing. I'm not having to rush it because I started quite far out. I feel like I've started to build up a little bit of posing endurance already, and then I've got a foundation to build on from there as well. So I feel really good, even though I feel like a brand new, like a newbie, different federation, different category, different posing. I think I like that, because now I feel like there's no expectations. Yes, I can compare myself to myself last year, but I'm not doing the same category, not doing the same federation, so I feel like I'm starting from zero, but with more experience and more knowledge and a little bit more confidence, I guess. So yeah, win or lose, I feel like I'm winning anyway, because I like doing these shows because it just gives me a reason to stay on track all the time. And I like sharing this information as well, because I think it really does help others. They can see for themselves what can be achieved, or what's feasible, what's realistic to work towards. And yeah, so if you like this stuff, please ask more questions. Comment on the YouTube video, because I will I'll answer more questions as I go through.
I didn't think I would be doing this from a laundromat today, but I have set up my office here because that's my squeaky chair. One of my cats pooped on my bed, and my blankets are too big to fit in my washing machines that are in one of these gigantic washing machines at the moment. But I promised I would do a Q&A as part of this video, so I'm going to do that very briefly now. Number one, this question is brilliant. It's actually come from one of my clients who's committed to 12 months online, which is a long time to commit to anything. It's about how you push through the times where you know, when you've set yourself a goal and you're working towards it, and you have that burst of motivation at the start, and then it disappears, and you hit that Groundhog Day feeling, and you've got to keep going even though you don't feel like you've seen any results for the work you've done yet. How do you push past those moments? And it's such a good question, because I pretty much always feel like that. And I think the key is, this is what works for me. It doesn't work for everyone else. It definitely works for me. is you have to make yourself so busy that you don't check on your results that much because you kind of just so busy doing the work. So you might be busy with your job, with your training. Don't make yourself so busy that you don't nitpick at your results too much. That way when you do measure your results, you're like, oh, there actually is a change there. I think it's like watching grass grow or like watching paint dry. If you try and watch the grass grow, it seems like it's not growing. But if you go off and do something else and come back, you'll be like, oh wow. And results in your body are like that as well. You have to do the work regardless of how long it's going to take. So I think the key for me is whenever I do set a goal, I'm clear on what it is I want to achieve, but I don't actually set a deadline. I just always say to myself that I'm willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. Because if there is no deadline, then you're just going to do what's required anyway. And whenever I've done it like that, I've always achieved it way sooner than I thought I would. And I think it's because I didn't worry that it was going to be done by X date. Now, in saying that, obviously I've done lots of bodybuilding competitions where I have had a date, but I've always aimed to maintain a certain level in my off season so that the next part, like the comp prep part, is easy to do. It's very, very hard to stay in decent shape in your off season when the goal feels like it's really far away. And that comes back to just building a routine where you're too busy to worry about what your results are like from today as opposed to yesterday. You've got to put yourself in situations where you focus on the forest and not the trees, because if you focus on the forest, the trees tend to take care of themselves. And if you get bogged down in sweating the small stuff and worrying about the trees, you lose sight of the forest and you can actually end up going in the wrong direction. Whatever your goal is, just say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes, and then forget the deadline. Don't even have a deadline. Just say it'll happen when it happens. That's how it worked for me. And I remember the first time I was ever going for a world title and trying to win a pro card. I remember saying it'll probably take me about 10 years to get there of, training and competing. But I said, I'm willing to do it for as long as it takes. And I did it in less than 5 years. And it was almost disappointing because I was like, I was looking forward to it because I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, because I was willing to do whatever it took for as long as it took. And then it only took 5 years or under. So I think that's why I was actually a bit depressed afterwards and had the big come down in the post-comp blues for a good 2 years afterwards, because it was the looking forward to it that I really loved. I enjoyed the journey. And I think it's because I didn't have the actual pressure of, this is going to happen one day. It doesn't have to happen now. The sooner it happens, the better. But then once it happens, I'm going to have to set another goal anyway. Questions I want to answer before I finish off this video. Number one was, do I have a favorite brand of tan? Yep. At the moment I'm using Bondi Sands. I put it on myself and I also put it on my own back. And I actually I don't even know why I did this. Actually, I know why I did this because I do photo shoots with clients. So I made a tutorial video on how to put your own self tan on. I like the foam one. So if you want to watch that, you can watch this. I'm actually putting it on myself. I had to crop out all my body parts because it's real. But I just like the stuff from the supermarket. I think it's good. So favorite brand of tan is definitely the cheap, easy stuff to put on. I like to put it on myself just because it's one less appointment that I have to go to. And the last question I want to cover was, do you have any current favorite recipes? And the truth is right now I'm not actually following any recipes. I'm just sticking to very simple meals as I showed you earlier. Recipes I get very much into in my off season because I need to make sure that I always maintain that love for food and that positive relationship with food. But right now it's really about just sticking to protein amounts, carb amounts, and making sure that I'm eating enough calories to lose fat while preserving muscle. So for now, no, I don't have any favorite recipes, so that's probably a disappointing answer. But yeah, now we're at Friday night. I have done my gym workout, back and triceps today. Now I'm going to show you the last thing that I do on a Friday night currently. This will change very soon, so I have to enjoy it while it lasts. Come with me and see how I'm going to finish off my Friday night.